Hey everybody, welcome. I'm the Woofs. Yeah, we're gonna run some Grim Fandango. This is the remastered version. This is originally a game from 1998, one of the LucasArts graphic adventure classics. It was remastered in 2015. This is what the graphics used to look like. You can see it's been spruced up a little bit, but some good blockiness for good effect. But the one big addition here is that we have a mouse, like a mouse input, which if you've ever played this game originally, this was famously put together with tank controls, so forward and back, and then turn left, turn right, which is yeah, it didn't age super well. So much so that in the remastered version, there's actually an achievement you can get if you beat the game with tank controls turned on. Anywho, we won't be doing that. We're going to be doing everything with the mouse. We'll take a little bit of advantage off of this because the game also wasn't built to have a mouse, so there's some things we can do. Anywho, let's get started then. I'll hit the button here. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Alrighty, I'll get into some of the lore here shortly. Obviously, the graphic adventure is all about the story, right? But we need to go over some speedrun stuff here. So we've already done one quick trick, and we'll be doing it throughout the run, and it's called item sliding. The one thing that we all look for in speedruns is to try to do as many things as we can at once, right? Because that seems to be faster. So in this case, item sliding allows us to move and adjust our inventory all at the same time. Let me just do this. This is going to be a bit of a tough trick. This is a new one here. This is called animation canceling. We'll get into how this works a bit later. There we go. We got it. Yeah, if you've ever played a graphic adventure or a point-and-click adventure, you know it's all about picking items up, using items with other items, and kind of solving puzzles, and of course talking to folks like Glottis here, one of my all-time favorite characters in one of these games. But as I was saying, we're trying to do two things at once here, so we're going to move and kind of adjust our inventory at the same time, and since the whole game is all about collecting and using inventory, that's a huge advantage for us. This is not something you can do on the original game, but it all comes down to using the mouse here. So I'm kind of using the mouse to get Manny to move around our main characters. Of course, Manny Calavera, a Grim Reaper, although some may describe him as a travel agent. But in any case, we're clicking to move Manny ahead, and then we are using a hotkey to continue or basically to switch in and out inventory whilst we're moving. So for whatever reason, inventory sort of takes over whatever input you've put in here. But by kind of using the inventory hotkeys, after already kind of inputting an input, kind of a movement, we're able to kind of take our inventory in and out whilst moving. Get through this dialogue here. So we're collecting a few balloons that we're going to use a bit later. This is also a jam. This is one of my favorite little tunes from this game. But we're going to use that item sliding all over the place. Normally, if you've ever played this casually, or maybe you played the original version, when you're trying to go through inventory, you need to use a special menu that kind of zooms into to Manny's jacket. And you have to stop while you're adjusting your inventory. So anytime that we can keep moving, it's going to be faster for us. The other kind of interesting thing that happens with item sliding is that, I mentioned that anytime you start using the inventory, that kind of overrides everything else that you're doing, and that actually has another advantage. That being, it's going to skip over cutscenes. So there's triggers all over the place where we're supposed to engage in dialogue with folks, and different cutscenes are going to come through to give us clues or kind of move the story along. But if we do an item slide over it, as long as we exit the kind of cutscene trigger, we'll actually skip that whole thing. And we'll do that a few big times in the run. One of them is coming up. But let's talk lore here. It's not a point-and-click adventure if we don't talk about the story. So yeah, this is Manny Calavera, is a Grim Reaper. Collects people from the land of the living who have perished, brings them over to the land of the dead. I did mention that can also be known as a travel agent. And that's because when you pass away in this game, your next kind of step in the land of the dead is to make it to the 9th underworld, which is kind of where your eternal rest begins. It's kind of where you want to be chilling at the end of your days here. But to get there, it's quite a big journey. So if you're super good in life, you're able to kind of qualify for a travel package that gets you on the number 9 train, which is the cushiest way to travel, and it gets you all the way there in 4 minutes. It's pretty good. Unfortunately for Manny, everybody that he has gotten down the pipe for him have been pretty rotten, and so they need to walk there. And that takes 4 years, and I don't know if I mentioned, but it's incredibly dangerous, to the point where most people just kind of give up and they just take a job in the land of the dead. Yeah, I mean, Manny's been at this for a while, and so he thinks something's up. Why is he getting all the bad people and his rival Domino getting all the good ones? That doesn't make any sense. So we're kind of on a quest right now to intercept one of Domino's clients as they kind of come in to try to see if, hey, maybe we'll get one ourselves here. But yeah, in true adventure game form, we're just kind of collecting random items and doing these kind of crazy puzzles to, I don't know, to get what we need here. So we're actually breaking the server of the building, which is this kind of tube system here where different pipes come in and out, and basically like that's where all the clients come in and out, or through the tubes here. We just caused a huge mess downstairs. There's a cutscene right here. I've skipped this actually twice now. I'm gonna do it again there. But anytime that I try to take an item out, we're just gonna slide right over the top of it, and we won't take the cutscene. It's just kind of wait there for us until we hit it. Did another one right here. This guy is actually supposed to catch on fire. We're supposed to run over and put him out. Thankfully for our elevator elemental friend here, this is actually what the guy actually does. He's supposed to be fixing elevators. Not happy about it because obviously not a lot of elevator work going on, but that's the cutscene that we're actually skipping. But yeah, they don't get to be caught on fire. We've had it over there. We've got access in here. This is kind of our ultimate plan here. I'm gonna grab this. This is us stealing the next client from Domino. And it turns out it is a woman named Meche. Now Meche is truly has a heart of gold here. Go. And so for sure was supposed to be a number 9 contender here. But unfortunately, she's only qualified for a walking stick, not any good travel packages for her. We know that something's up now because she was pretty much the nicest person in the world. It turns out we were right. So this is Sal. Sal is the leader of the revolution. They've been investigating the Department of the Dead, who's, by the way, who we work for. Or worked for, I should say. We were about to get fired. We were just locked in an office there since we stole some clients there. But anywho, they're on to us, and now we've decided to join the revolution and try to kind of figure out exactly what's going on. It's very strange that there are only some people who are getting these number 9 train tickets, and everybody else is fortunately stuck walking through the most dangerous parts of the land of the dead, a place that you do not want to be walking to too often. We're collecting a few more ingredients here. This is actually Domino's office. Doing some more item sliding here. Trying to get through some of these quick cut scenes here. There we go. Okay, we're heading to the roof here because our kind of mission right now with the revolution is to collect some carrier pigeons, because that is how we're sending messages back and forth, because everybody's tapped the lines otherwise. So this is going to be a good example of some of the other kind of smaller tech you might not be thinking of in one of these runs. And this kind of is applicable to a lot of adventure game speedruns, which is, fairly enough probably something you haven't heard in a sentence before, adventure game and speedrun at the same time. But there's a lot of interesting movement tech. I mean, it's more than just kind of clicking in the right spot, more than just remembering the the dialogue trees and stuff, though that's of course very important. But we kind of had ourselves flush up against this bowl here in a certain spot, right? This kind of top left spot there, and that's to make sure Manny moves directly back to the corner there. If you were too far or too low on those sections, Manny will take like a really long path up and down. And that's always a thing. If you kind of let the game decide where Manny wants to walk, if you click in a certain spot, a lot of the time the game takes the longest possible path. Sometimes they're walking, things like that. So we're trying to just optimize every little movement game to get it going. Another big item slide here. We're going to have one out and one back in. We're filling up a mouthpiece with some paste here, some goop. I feel like every good speedrun needs a bit of goop. It's our goop for the day. And ultimately, we're trying to just we're going to save Meche effectively. So what's happened is Meche obviously only qualified for a walking stick, and because she's so gracious, she's like, I'll take it and I'll start walking. And so we feel pretty bad because I think we're kind of aware now that there's something up, something afoot. So since we feel pretty bad about all of this stuff, we're going to go save her. But she's already through into the Petrified Forest, which is a really dangerous place. So we're gonna catch up to her right now. We're just handing in a few last-minute stuff for our current quests, if you will. Go, and we have now reached the Petrified Forest ourselves. We're going to skip a heck of a lot of cutscenes here, as you'd expect. There we go. So Glottis joins us. Glottis is our sidekick now. Glottis is a mechanic elemental, so their kind of whole existence is to be a mechanic. So he's obsessed with I don't know, like cars and boats and fixing things like that. So unfortunately, his heart has been ripped out of his body, so we're gonna go replace that really fast. That'll allow us to get access to the Bone Wagon, which is this custom vehicle that he has. So we're just gonna fling this thing out here. You can see there's a lot of like little monsters and things going on. So we kind of have to solve these puzzles in a careful way. Just going to move through here. There's a puzzle actually that we're about to do that has a brand new solution. We're going to try to do this. There's a chance we can soft lock, but I do have a safety save in case it happens, but I figured let's go for it. But it uses a technique called animation canceling, which we actually use in a bunch of, we use in Escape from Monkey Island, which is another game that I speedrun. But it's on the same kind of engine. What's going on here? Go. Randomly clipped out of bounds. That's good. But basically, we're going to do two things at once. So similar to the item sliding situation, we're going to use our inventory, but also try to interact with that. Yeah, we got it, I think. Yeah, that's really, really tough. Okay, great. Beautiful. Okay, so what did I just do? So by opening my inventory, like the actual menu where you see Manny taking the inventory out, at the same time as I was interacting with this switch here, we actually gained control of Manny in the middle of a cutscene. So that whole thing where we were just chatting basically with Glottis and moving this thing around, that was actually just a cutscene that we weren't supposed to be moving around in. But we managed to do the puzzle during the cutscene. That for basically when I flipped the switch the second time, that was when we were supposed to begin the puzzle. But it's already done. So that was actually, that's a brand new find by the community there. Yeah, we use that all the time in Escape from Monkey Island. As, basically anytime that Guybrush in that game starts like, using inventory with things, you can actually stack inventory. So if you use your banana picker, you can also open a door at the same time, and there's all kinds of interesting applications for it. We'll use that a lot more in the next, I should say the end of the game, kind of in the final act. So yeah, we're gonna do one more little puzzly thing here. Another kind of glitch that we found. So this is a rock here. You may be familiar with rocks perhaps, but one cool thing is that if we get stuck on the rock, let's see if we can get this working here. Yeah, there we go. You can actually grab that key, which we're supposed to run over to. You can do it from distance here. And we're going to use that a few times as well. Manny's really weird with hitboxes. As long as you're your inputs are kind of precise on it, Manny will just get stuck. And he just kind of gives up and then just decides to pick it up from wherever he's standing. We're going to do that a couple times later on, but that's just kind of a cool strat. I think you can probably do some donations or messages if you have any, because we're just going to do kind of a long repetitive puzzle here. Nothing too much to talk about.
Absolutely, I'd love to. And speaking of your community, I think they're in the donations list. So I've got a few donations here. We're going to start with a $10 donation from Frozen Spade, who says, "Hey, super streamer the woofs, the Frozen Spade here, bringing you shout-outs from the Speedy Adventures community. I'm so excited to see you running some cool games at ESA. I was there for your first Twitch streams, and I'm in awe at how far you've come in so little time. I know you'll do great, but remember to stay cool, game big, and go fast. I hope your forklift behaves, and may your Zendayas be meshe. Good luck, and get this man a root beer. I hear Barks has bites." We have a $5 donation from NBZ that says, "Sub 1 hour incoming, or the Woofs has to say, Grim Fandang it in front of all of these people." So thank you for your donation, NBZ. And another $5 donation has come in from It's Just Vlad that says, "Let's go, Woofs. So happy to see this game being run by an amazing runner. Good luck, and get them slides."
Thank you for those donations, everybody. Good to see some familiar names out there. So we just had a really weird thing happen that, you know, I've never seen. That so what we're doing is we're extinguishing some demon beavers, as you do, and they're taking a little bit of a dip here because we need to cross this this bridge. But you may have noticed one just got stuck at the top. I've never seen that happen before. We did get through it. I was a bit worried, and that's that. But we did cross the bridge. Good news. We are in the town of Rubacava. If you've ever played this game, you know Rubacava well. A good chunk of the game, I would say probably the majority of the game takes place here. We'll spend the entire second year hanging out. And if you ever played this game, I feel like this is the most memorable part. There's so many cool characters and things. But this is Celso. Celso's kind of the character, very first character we ever take from the land of the living. Celso has been one of the folks who got the walking stick. He's made it all the way here to Rubacava, and he's waiting for his wife. And so he's taken up a job as a janitor to pass the time. He's waiting for his wife to come through then to continue his journey. But we want that job as a janitor because we are waiting for Meche to come through. Because Meche has not come through yet. So really quick, we're going to talk to Velasco. This is the shipmaster here in Rubacava. He sees everybody who comes in and out. He lets us know basically that Celso's wife came through a long, long time ago. So he can get on out of here. So we're going to get ourselves a janitor job. Really exciting stuff here. This little kind of deli cafe thing here. Let's see if we can get the book back out here. There we go. We are golden. We're about to move into year 2, so we're going to do a little bit of a time jump. Be signified by a nice costume change by Manny. Manny changes his clothes quite a bit. I like that little touch that the game has. I think this is my favorite Manny. I like Sailor Manny as well. We'll get to Sailor Manny at some point, but I like the kind of suave Manny that we have here with this cool white jacket. So Manny is kind of an entrepreneurial genius and has now worked his way up in a year's time. We've been waiting here for about a year. He now owns the cafe, and it's now called the Calavera Cafe, appropriately. Oh, we've clipped out of bounds again. Okay, there we go. This game does that. It's really interesting that we did an item slide there, which was intended. But if you item slide too far, you'll actually end up very, very far out of bounds. You got to come back in, which is what we have done here. Just getting the last bit here. Okay, cool. We're just setting up kind of the quest for this year here. So we got to do a few things. During a cutscene that we obviously didn't watch, Meche did come through. However, Domino, our old friend Domino, kidnapped her and threw her onto a boat. So we are going to go save her. Thankfully, there is a boat heading in that direction very, very soon. But we can only get on if we have a union card. We have, well, we need to make a spot for ourselves because the boat is full. So we're going to make sure somebody doesn't show up for the boat. It's another classic adventure game thing, kind of ruins somebody's day. And then finally, we also are going to bring Glottis with us, who has a spot because they need a mechanic, but we do need tools for Glottis. We need those 3 things to basically move on. So right now we're going to head and talk to somebody named Charlie, who has a kind of a duplicating machine that we're going to use. And we're going to cut a deal as well to get the union card. We're going to have a little conversation here. The one main thing that we're going to be picking up right now is a thing called a ticket machine. So we're going to use the ticket machine to do a puzzle later on. This whole kind of act or year is one giant trading quest. I mean, if you've played a Zelda game or something, you know, where you get an item and you have to trade it to somebody who needs it. They give you something completely random and you need to find the person who needs that. This is kind of what we're doing here. We're getting an item to trade to somebody else, and then eventually we can leave. The ticket machine is sort of the last piece of this whole thing. It allows us to create a ticket, or a fake ticket, that allows us to get this photograph at the end that sort of locks in our tools for Glottis. But the unintended thing with this is that we do have a way to sort of, exploit this ticket machine. This is something that was found on accident and has been kind of run into the ground. It's pretty cool. So we're basically going to bring up the ticket machine, not actually use it. We're just going to bring it up, bring it down, kind of flash it on and off on the screen quick, and that forces the game to get a bit confused because it's considered its own room. So for instance, we're just kind of downstairs, that's a room. Going upstairs, this is a new room. Every camera angle is its own room. When we bring in the ticket warping machine, that also counts as its own room. But if we have already told Manny to start walking, the game is just like, well, I don't know what to do with that. So the game gets very confused and it just warps us to the end. But just as a heads up, this is kind of where the photosensitive section comes up here. It's only when we're going from space to space, but it's worth mentioning now. It'll begin on this next screen after this one here, so heads up on that. Go. So you can kind of see we're just bringing the ticket machine up. I am sending Manny to the end of it, and like that giant room, we just kind of made it over there very, very quick. And it's kind of just, again, the result of the game basically not knowing how to deal with Manny. This is something that's an extension of the mouse being there. You're not supposed to be able to do anything when you have inventory up or that menu. And yeah, this forced a humongous change in the route. All right, you should be safe to look for a while again if you have any photosensitivity issues. We're just going to be in another dialogue for a little bit. We're going to talk to Nick Virago, who is a lawyer who does not like us very much, and we're going to set up some blackmail because that's what you do. We can't skip through any of this text here. It's interesting because you'd think you'd be able to. However, you notice that there's some yelling going on here. This is actually Glottis having a drink or two or 30 upstairs, and he's just yelling at cats. This is the cat racing track, so he's just having a time. But anytime that there's two dialogues happening at the same time, we actually can't skip anything. So we're just going to kind of hang out and enjoy it. And a great time for donations if you have any.
That's great, thank you. I was just grooving out to the music a little bit.
So good.
We've had a couple of donations come in. We've had a $50 donation come in from Zeta2, who says, love to see one of my favorite childhood games and source of my life philosophy. Nobody knows what's going to happen at the end of the line, so you might as well enjoy the trip. Best of luck to the runner, and vive la révolution. My awful French accent there. I apologize to everybody in the room. We've also had a $10 donation come in from High Performance, who says, the woofs, May the warps be with you, and don't forget to spam this leche for a fast meche. Thank you very much for your donation, High Performance.
Thank you very much. Yeah, High Performance is the world record holder, actually, in this game. So shouts out. Yeah, we'll get into Meche a bit later. Obviously, that's who kind of we're chasing at the moment. We need to save Meche out there. And we will catch up to her at some point here. And then she actually becomes the biggest piece of the RNG between, you know, if you're going to get world record or not. And it's going to be a good time. And there's sort of a joke with this whole thing where it's you got to drink your leche to make sure you get a good meche. So if you have any milk, I don't know, drink it or whatever. Or a good milk substitute.
We've got a Pepsi Max. How's that?
I love it. Perfect, yeah. That's good. A beverage of your choosing is fair. All right, so yeah, continuing the theme of ruining people's day, we've just locked Raul in the in this like kind of closet thing. Boop. Give a good boop there for good luck. And so the deal that we cut with Charlie was that Charlie would give us a union card as long as we got his briefcase back. So the briefcase is actually on a secret floor underneath the cat track, and so we have gained access, hiding in a keg, coming in here. And this is what was kind of referenced earlier is hope your forklift is okay. This is a very scary part of the game, and yeah, you can lose a run here very, very easily. The forklift looks like it's this big, right? Well, it's not. It's like that big. So it's very, very easy to clip out of bounds. And if you're out of bounds, you cannot solve this puzzle. So the idea here is we need to get these forks. Yep, we're out of bounds. Uh-oh, 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 yep. Okay, gotta do it again. No problem, no problem. But basically, yeah, it's very easy to kind of... We do this trick called drifting, which is why we were just flying around on the forklift. You're not supposed to be able to do that. But by kind of spinning this around, you can line yourself up well. But as you kind of back up, sometimes you can catch that you are out of bounds, and you actually can't exit the area over here to kind of get your forks underneath the little hole there. That's unfortunate we didn't get that, but that's the way it goes. That's like I think the hardest part in this whole run is that particular trick here. It's honestly hard doing it casually because this is how fast the forklift moves. Oh, we clipped out of bounds again. I don't know how we did that. That's fun. There we go. Okay, we're good. We're good. Holy moly. So there is a way, speaking of clipping out of bounds, you might be asking yourself, why don't you just clip through the wall? Well, I'll tell you what, I have. And unfortunately, there's a trigger that waits for you to lift the thing up there, the gate. If the gate is lifted, that's when you can access this back room. You can clip through the thing, through the gate there. And if the trigger is not there, you can just walk around aimlessly in the background. Unfortunately, nothing happens. Anywho, we do have the briefcase. We did open it up, and guess what it's filled with? A bunch of number 9 tickets. And that should not be in a briefcase. And unsurprisingly, Charlie has sort of kind of double-crossed us. See the gun there. You might be also asking, like, why is Manny worried about dying in the land of the undead? He's already dead, right? Well, you may notice the flower there. So this is loaded with fertilizer bullets. So when you get shot with one of these as a skeleton, you actually become sprouted, is what they call it. And you have a very painful second death as you turn into a flower. We're going to clip out of bounds here. This one's on purpose. We're going to have a little lucky swig of our drink here, just to make sure the rest of the run goes good. And then we'll clip back in bounds. By coming back in, we will set off the metal detector. We need this to happen, but by going out of bounds and coming back in, we're actually close to that spot where we just walked to, so it saved a couple seconds of having Manny kind of dawdle back here and come back in. It's a whole thing. Again, we're just trying to get these small optimizations on the board here. So this is Carla. Carla's the security guard. It's a good burp there. She wants to really hang out with us here, but we are in a hurry, and so she's upset about that. We want that. This is a metal detector here. but she just threw it in the the kitty litter down there. So we're gonna have to fish that out at some point. That's no good. But for now, we need to open up this cigarette case. So we stole this from Nick a bit earlier. It has a key in it. The key is the key to the run. So we're gonna grab that, and then we'll go grab the metal detector. And then we basically just got about everything we need. We did get the Union card from Charlie. That was a nice thing, despite holding a gun to us. It did give us the Union card, so that's done. The tools we're going to keep working on here, and then the key is kind of our next little thing within our kind of pseudo trading sequence here. Let's see if we can't get one of these going. This is a lovely scene. It's funny how, like, really pretty this game is. Sometimes the backgrounds are quite beautiful in their own little way. And the blockiness is very endearing, but yeah, this is another scene. So more photosensitivity stuff coming up, folks, starting now. So you notice that we're kind of warping around. Some of these rooms kind of have their own unique mines here a little bit. So sometimes you can only warp through some of them. We're gonna just walk over water here. Go. And now we've made it to the lighthouse. The lighthouse is where we need the key for to get in. Didn't get a crash there. That does happen. That's the scary spot. Okay, we're gonna give this book to this bee here. And unfortunately, that is going to get the poor guy arrested. Reading is bad, obviously, so we'll come back for him a little bit later. Some more photosensitivity stuff happening now. And you're good for a little bit now. Just little flashes like that. Okay. Another trading bit here. Lupe behind here, one of our employees at the Calavera Cafe, has this brand new method for sorting coat check. And we actually have one of her coat check cards here. We found that at the lighthouse here, and that gives us a jacket. We did witness a murder in cold blood there, a sprouting, if you will. So we're going to take a look at that very soon. We're going to have more photosensitivity here. Heads up. And you're good again. Okay, so we're just grabbing a few more items here as we press on through here, through our kind of second year. So many colorful characters. It's unfortunate in the speedrun we don't get to talk to more folks, but this little cafe here is great. You can kind of do like a stand-up poem, like slam poetry set here. That's a pretty memorable spot. Glottis also plays the piano, and it's quite nice. Just getting the last bit set up here. So we're going to check the jacket. There's going to be a tattoo card, I think, inside this thing. We're heading into a tattoo parlor, so we're going to do a trade for that. And there is going to be a specific date that we're given by the tattooist after we do that trade, and that informs us of which actual ticket to make. So we've been using this ticket machine to warp around, but we actually haven't actually made a ticket, right? So we're going to do that now after this section here. Unfortunately, the date's always the same no matter what, but it is locked, kind of logic locked, as I like to call it. You can't actually enter in the date out of the numbers into the ticket machine until Manny knows it. Very picky guy. Okay, so this is Naranja. This is one of the sailors on the ship, and as you may have guessed, he's not going to be making the boat tonight. We did get this other goop. Double the goop, double the fun. So we did get some goop, and I'm going to take a nap here really quick. This is actually really good RNG. So all of these little animations that are happening here are random. Some are weighted more than others. You'll see kind of the reach for the bottle and the kind of the pain kind of animation. You'll see those more often than other ones, but it is kind of random, and sometimes you'll have to get stuck and wait kind of for the right moment here to get through everything. All right, so let's we need to run back here and pull out. There's a card in here. There it is. We've grabbed some dog tags as well. We need to make sure that he doesn't make. We need to make sure everyone else knows that he's not making the ship. So we're going to use that dog tag in a pretty nefarious way here in a bit. We're doing our trade. Get that that photograph, or that date, I should say. There we go. Thank you, Toda Santos. That's the tattooist. Okay, last little bit of photosensitivity. Heads up. That's a big warp there, which is nice. We like those. Okay, cool. We are out of the photosensitivity stuff now, so you guys are all good to go. Okay, it's always 226. That's the bit there. And we're going to hand this thing in. So we're trading. This is the last trade here. We're putting that in. There's going to be a photograph of Nick. Somebody else who is not his wife, partner, or otherwise. And that's, I kind of mentioned we're going to do a bit of blackmailing, so that is what's going down here now. And I think we're clear for another message, donation, etc., because we're going back into this area here where it's just a conversation, nothing special to talk about.
Fantastic. So we've had a $5 donation coming from Tiny Tim, who I can see is in the room with us right now. Tiny Tim says, "Hail, donating for the dead good Grim Fandango run. Point and click is one of my favorite genres, so it's awesome to see the Woofs running it at ESA. Shoutouts also to the always amazing Skenme. You are awesome. Cheers." No, Tim, you're awesome. Cheers to you, and thank you for your donation. A $5 donation from XP Home. Grim Fandango was a game I loved when I grew up. I never ended up finishing it, though. Well, XP Home, you're about to see it finished in record time. Thank you for your donation. And finally, a $10 donation from Stevie B, who says, "Watching live from London with Body the Dog. The Woofs is smashing this run. Very speedy indeed. All for a great cause. Love you guys." No, Stevie B, we love you.
Shouts out to Stevie and Bonnie. Amazing. Thank you, everybody, for the donations. That's awesome. All right, so there's one other kind of big bit to this this year, which we are about to end here. This is the end of the second... the end of kind of the second section here. And so, I mean, people have probably heard about, you know, waiting for the bus, right? Kind of a frame rule situation. We're kind of in what would be the kind of closest type of deal here. We're trying to catch the boat, right? We're trying to get the boat at the end. Yeah. Thought we had just gotten the other glitch here, but we're good now. So there's a global timer running. As soon as you start year 2, there's just a timer that starts from the beginning. And every 40 to 50 seconds, we can get on the boat to leave into year 3. We used to all believe it was RNG. There's basically a roulette table if you've ever played this game. There's a roulette table that we need to kind of fix. It's and we basically need to get somebody thrown out of our own casino. It needs to be basically the light. There's a light that I'll try to show you if we, depending on the the boat that we get. But there's a light that needs to be in a specific spot, and then we need to fix the table during that point, and that's when we can move onwards. I don't have the time in front of me, but we kind of try to keep an eye on maybe like a 1950 or an 1840, those kind of times. We might be able to make our way up there, but let's take a look what we get. Not sure what the world record time is, but I think my fastest one is in 1850. That gets you going here. All right, let's take a look. All right, so we are looking for this light to light up. Oh, nice. Yeah, we got a great one. That was really, really good luck for us. So sometimes you have to wait for that light. It goes clockwise, and we need to be able to wait for that to to move to the correct spot. Okay, so we are now on the boat. We were just a lowly, you know, passenger on the boat out there in steerage. Of course, worked our way up just like we did in Rubacava. We are now the captain of the boat because Manny's, I don't know, just an incredible person here. So we're just kind of setting some things up here. Domino's bad guys have gotten on the boat. They're coming for us. They're coming to sprout us. So we need to figure out a way out of here because we're still chasing Meche. So we're doing some boat adjustments here. So you may think, hey, we should just get him off the boat. Well, there's no way to do that. So we're going to do the next best thing, which is sink the boat. Here we go. We've kind of taken the anchor. We're going to rip a big old circle around the whole boat, and we're going to hit the turbo boosters. There we go. So that's that section. So we're now underwater. We can't leave this particular area because there's a whole bunch of monsters hiding in the darkness here. But thankfully, there's this fellow right here, Chapito, who has a light, and we need that light to kind of continue on. So we're trying to find this submarine that's going to take us to the next section here. This part can get a little weird. Hopefully we'll get through it. Yeah, we're good. So sometimes Glottis does not want to take Chapito, but obliged this time. That's lovely. So before we can get on sub here, we need to take care of this giant octopus that is threatening to kill us. Makes sense. So to do so, unfortunately, we are going to have to sacrifice Chapito. We'll make it up to him, though, so don't worry. But this is kind of Chapito's big bad day here. So if you run around this corner really, really tight, Chapito, like, his blocking is to come here and get stuck by these kind of tentacle things. So the faster you run through there, the blocking kind of just picks up. Okay. So now we're at this secret hideout. This is where Domino is. And long story short, Meche is also here. So we need to save Meche, but also we're sort of trapped here because there's no way for us to get out of here. Domino basically has also trapped us here now and basically wants us to work for him. Obviously, we will not be doing that. So we're going to try to kind of factor a way to get everybody off this this rock here. Ooh, there it is. So we're going to do a little bit of item collection here. This is a really tricky conversation. If you get any wrong answers here, you make the children cry. If you make the children cry, you lose like 2 minutes straight up, as you should. Okay, cool. Ultimately, all we needed there was this little itty-bitty pickaxe. We're gonna give that to Chapito. It's his like favorite thing in the whole world is the lil chipper. And here we go. This is Meche. If you have any, I don't know, milk emotes, spam the leche for a good Meche. This is a RNG section here. Okay, not the first one. So the idea here is we want Meche to tap her cigarette onto her leg. Therefore, we can take her hosiery because she's going to throw it in the trash can. But this is very similar. Oh, all right, nice. Second try, Meche. That's amazing. That's really, really, really good. I've gotten like 15 to 20 just to kind of put it in perspective there. Getting that at a marathon is very exciting. But these are this is kind of an interesting section. So those are similar to the tattooist. Those are like weighted animations where Meche will tap her cigarette more often than not. But if she notices that you've moved it before she taps, that is, that's that's when she flips it back and you got to do it again, and you can just sit there and watch the run away from you becomes sentient at a certain point. So yeah, Zendaya is Michi, folks. Zendaya is Michi. We can do some donos here, if you'd like.
I would love to, thank you so much. I just want to call out a couple of incentives that we've got coming up. So for the next run, which is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, we are looking for a starter. So get your donations in now to decide between Turtwig, Piplup, and Chimchar for the starter there. We also have the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 hairstyle choice donation bid war happening, and I'm told that there is a massive rivalry between long hair and short hair. So if you want long hair or if you want short hair, get your donations in. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond is the next game, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is coming up after that. Thank you.
Awesome. Sure to get the donations in, folks. Okay, so we've got the Tumblr section here. So this is also RNG, although this is nowhere near as punishing as the stuff we just got through. The idea right here is just to get a little bit of daylight right here so that we're able to stick our scythe, our handy scythe, right in there and open this door. So Meche has been trapped behind this door. We had a gun that we got, I believe, from Chipito for trading Chipito all those items there. And we confronted Domino, who just laughed in our face, basically. Locked Michi away. But here we are. We're gonna break out of here. So this is a cool glitch that was found by Retro TKS. Shouts out. This is a very heavy axe, but you'd never know it by how we're moving. This I hope isn't too high up. Yeah, it was. Okay, well I'll get to show you how slow the axe is then. Oh, no, we fixed it. Excellent. So by holding the shift key down when you pick this thing up, it confuses the game's speed, basically. It's supposed to be like this this speed right here, very, very slow and heavy. You have to drag it across 3 different camera angles, and it is the worst. But we found out that if you just hold the shift key down as you pick it up, it just kind of overrides that slow walk, and you're just kind of sliding all around. It's kind of just a not so heavy one there. So anyways, we've broken free. There's a secret passage here. Made it out here. So now we just need to do a little bit of further escaping. I'm going to try to get Glottis out. Glottis is also kind of trapped with us here. There's some interesting quirks to this section. So normally we need to kind of run up here. There's a crane that we need to operate that's up here, but if we just use the action key there, we just gain access to the crane. Makes no sense to me. Don't know why that works, but it's a small warp from here to here. We'll take that. We're also going to use this bus doll again. So it's really funny. They give Chipito this big thing called a bus doll that's sort of like a giant jackhammer. He hates it. Trades it for the little pickaxe called the Little Chipper. But we get to keep it and use it. So despite what this is here, we actually just did separate this chain from the bottom of the crane here. For whatever reason, the game does not like that particular animation ending early. But as you can see, it is separated. So we're just going to break some things. Break some stuff. And much like that, that kind of demon beaver scenario that we had earlier, we have to do every puzzle 3 times to prove that we know what we're doing. Let's just try to hop back down here again. We're going to use this lever 3 times, and that should give us access to everything we need to. Yeah, we have some time for messages if you'd like to go for it.
Absolutely. We've had a few donations come in. So we've got a $5 donation in from Nev Flynn, who says, I didn't expect a point-and-click run to be so good. And I entirely agree with you, Nev Flynn. Thank you for your donation. A $26 donation has come in from Summer B769. From your friends in the Speedy Adventures community, go Woofs! Love ESA, such a great event for a good cause. Keep up the good work. A $5 donation in from Paulister, who is in the room as well. Good luck, Woofs. Shame I couldn't read donos for you this event, But I'm going to echo what Tim said. Skenme is doing a brilliant job. Thank you, Paul Lister, and thank you for your donation. A $50 donation comes in from Zigmu with no message, but has gone towards the long hair incentive for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And finally, another $50 donation comes in from Hobtor, who says, thank you, the Woofs, for getting one of my all-time favorite games into a marathon. It's amazing seeing it go by so fast. When will Sam and Max hit the road be?
Another great game there. Thank you, everybody. That's amazing. Alrighty, so in that time where we were speaking there, we managed to make it to year 4, another year of traveling. We escaped, we defeated Domino, and now we have gotten to the 9th Underworld. We're at the very, very end of the line, as they say. But as you can see up top there, Glottis, not doing so good. I mentioned before, Glottis is sort of like a mechanical elemental. And what that means is that, like, to live, Glottis needs to be around mechanics, needs to be fixing things, needs to be in that sort of situation. But we found his people here. These are little mini Glottis folks here who are basically telling us we're going to make this giant rocket. We're going to send you folks, back to Rubacava again. And that should give him enough power to resurrect Glottis, and we love Glottis. So, yeah, we did that. It's working pretty well. Glottis quite happy. However, the plan was to head back, grab the bone wagon, which you may have saw briefly there, and then just drive that, back to kind of HQ. We're trying to get in touch with Sal and the team with the revolution, right? So, but unfortunately, Domino was already here and has basically rigged the bone wagon up to an explosive. So if we try to get anywhere close to it, yeah, that's not going to be good for anybody. So we're going to have to do in my opinion, one of the craziest adventure game puzzles here. And I'll kind of explain through it as we get there. But we're quickly stopping real fast in Todos Santos' place here to grab some liquid nitrogen. It's going to be helpful for this particular puzzle, but also it's going to be a lifesaver later on. So we're going to grab that now. Head along here. One bit of tech that I haven't noted, I should say yet. And it's a small one, and you wouldn't probably notice that it is a thing, but this does save seconds upon seconds in every single room, so it does add up. But we call it tanking out of the room. Even though we're not using tank controls, I am sometimes using WASD to move Manny room to room. And the trick is that if you click, like kind of where that arrow is, that means kind of enter the next room. You can double click and you can exit the room, and that's all fine and good. But if you, in many rooms, if you double click to exit, you actually don't gain control of Manny immediately when you exit the room. You have to kind of wait for him to walk in, get settled, and then finally you can actually leave. But if at the last second you use WASD to exit the room, it overrides that. So right there we did it. You can see that we just started running with Manny right away. And that's, that's like maybe 2 seconds every single room across the whole run. So it's like a massive, I don't know, it's a game of inches, as we like to say. It's a close one. All right, so let's talk about this insane puzzle here. So we have given Glottis a whole bunch of wine, basically, here. Glottis, I mean, is an alcoholic. Unfortunately, we're taking advantage of that a little bit. So he slams the whole thing, drinks the entire keg. Unfortunately, gets quite sick here. But this is actually for everybody's good. We're going to run in here. And you can see that the whole room is now filled with the wine by route of Glottis. So we're going to use that liquid nitrogen to freeze all of the liquid down here. And then we can disable the explosives here. Kind of an interesting situation. All right, so here's the outpost here from the Revolution. We're going to go confront Hector Lemon, who's kind of the big bad, if you will. We grabbed some carrier pigeons earlier in the game, if you were astute. We grabbed a couple eggs, right, to get those carrier pigeons. Well, this is them all grown up, because we're about 4 years after when that happened. So off they go. Going to deliver a very important message for us. we're going to do some interesting puzzles here as we basically ultimately look to confront Hector, kind of end the whole thing. We know that they're hoarding a bunch of number 9 tickets at this point. They've been keeping them and selling them to the highest bidder one by one instead of giving them to the rightful owners of that which being the very good people of the world who have passed on to the land of the dead. So we're going to try to get certainly Meche's ticket back, but of course all of the people who have had their tickets stolen by the Department of the Dead. But before we do that, it is getting late locally here, so we're going to take a quick coffee break. Here we are. So we're not going to drink any of the coffee, though, because it's faster just to... well, we're going to pour these folks some coffee. I guess we'll say that. We are going to miss the cups, though, unfortunately. So they're going to run away, perhaps in crippling pain. See? But the whole reason for this is that we are going to take their spots. They're kind of like on standby for this show, right? You can tell that they're all dressed up for a show. We're kind of backstage somewhere. But we need a disguise, which is why we're kind of doing this. So we've got our excellent face paint on. There we go. And we're just collecting this grinder here. This is another strange puzzle. But we do need to put the bone in the grinder, and now it's a bone grinder. We'll use that to sort out the next section here. So we're trying to track down somebody with a weapon. Because again, we can't confront Hector without having a little bit of, I don't know, protection, if you know what I mean. So we're going to get in there, take care of business here. But yeah, whilst we were up there, we also got the face paint, which is good. We also did take this kind of remote control away from Glottis. And if you noticed, he was going up and down. It basically controls the shocks. That's going to become handy. Also, you may have noticed that we just kind of lose Manny's head every once in a while. This is for aerodynamics, I'm sure. This is definitely not a glitch at all. This is intended. Anywho, we're being attacked by... Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. Okay. This is unfortunate. So this is a glitch that happens sometimes. I'm going to see if I can get out of this. I think this may be a soft lock. This is not even something that I'm doing wrong. This is something that just exists in the game, which is unfortunate. But we're basically stuck in this inventory screen, so just heads up, I'm going to reboot the game, if that is okay.
Go right ahead if that's what you need to do.
It's a shame.
That's marathon luck.
Yeah, right there. I haven't had that in a long time. Very fitting. I think we have a save somewhere in here, I do hope. Uh-oh. Does not look like it. Oh. Okay, that's unfortunate. My save is not here for that. We'll go to the one that's closest ahead, which is Meche. Uh-oh. I'm really sorry about that. So we are considerably behind now. I will keep it going. I understand if anybody needs to move this thing along, but it's really unfortunate. I don't know what happened to that safety save there. Unfortunately, this doesn't have an auto save set up either. Maybe like 10 minutes. It's a pretty big time loss there.
I'll speak with the powers that be and I'll let you know.
Okay. Okay, yeah, just let me know. Okay. So we'll head back down here. We just got another amazing first try Meche. So that's almost a slap in the face of good luck after having the run almost kind of die there. Very, very weird. We'll do an official safety save when we get closer again. Yeah, we're going to do our trade again. Little chipper. The hosiery. We're out of here. Yeah, that section's kind of interesting. Anytime that you take out that remote control, for whatever reason in that specific spot, Manny can, like every once in a blue moon, just get stuck. By no fault of anybody's. I've seen casual runs where that happens. And it just, yeah, just happens. It's really annoying. Get to do tumblers again here. I always thought that casually this was a difficult puzzle to figure out what to do with this thing. This is always one of those brute force puzzles where you need to go in and you need to just kind of try everything with everything. And if you've ever played an adventure game, I think we've all been there. Okay. Boop. Again, we're just looking for daylight on the right side. Okay, in we go. So we get to do this cool axe thing again. We're gonna fly through this. This will be too high, I think. Let's see if we can maybe get the glitch again. Yeah, we're good. Dang, what's going on here? This hitspot, this hotbox here, this hitbox is being very picky. So you'd think it's the square, right? And anytime that you're above this square here, that you can basically hit it, but it does get picky sometimes. I think it's not an exactly perfect square where you think it is. Anyways, we're breaking out Meche one more time. We're gonna do the crane one more time. And then we're gonna run this thing to the end. Get to go through a good portion in here for once more. Probably worth talking about point-and-click speed games in general. Again, I kind of mentioned earlier that it's not really the first thing you think of when you think of a speed run. You think of, you know, your Super Mario 64s, your Ocarina of Times, and what have you. Stuff where there's, you know, people are flipping in and out of bounds. They're flipping over stuff. It's kind of interesting to see a game like this. I always thought to be a speedrun when I first started. It was certainly what I thought. I always say, like, you know, speedrun games that that you like a lot, because you're going to be playing them a lot. So I took their, you know, folks' advice on that, and I started speedrunning Monkey Island 2. And yeah, it turns out there's a lot of interesting tech in here, but a lot of it's under the hood. You never notice what's going on. It's lots and lots and lots of small optimizations that are happening all the time. So much of it's actually movement, which I was surprised by. Go. Okay. Heading back down. Of course, we've got to hit this thing 3 times again to prove to the game that we get what we're doing. This kind of drives me nuts. This is one of those portions of the game where I think you kind of get this one out of frustration rather than anything else. So there's nothing really telling you that this chain thing should work. It's kind of, you have to kind of brute force it every time. We get to see us fighting Domino here. This puzzle solution is always kind of funny because you think that you need to kind of engage Domino and have a fight to the death. Or the death again, because you're both dead actually. But it's kind of funny because in this case you actually do not have to do that. You have to attack something else. You hit the octopus that's kind of steering the ship. And yeah, that's how Domino goes out there. Okay, here we go. Save Glottis here. One more time, we're gonna build that rocket. Head back to Rubacava, and then we should be back on track here.
I think everybody in the room agrees with me. We want to see this through to the end, right? Yes, we do.
Well, that's a relief. All right, we just gotta have a little dunk here, and then we're gonna do a dip. I don't know if there's anything incentive-wise that you want to talk about during this time, since we have kind of jumped through this a bit. You're welcome to do that now. Otherwise.
Absolutely. Just another plug for the next run that's coming up, which is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, with the incentive for the starter. You need to choose between our plant tortoise, our fire monkey, and our water penguin. So that's Turtwig, Piplup, or Chimchar. So get your donations in now. This is your last chance to choose our starter Pokemon for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond.
Amazing. Get him in there. Righty. Again, heading down to Todos Santos. We're going to get ourselves our liquid nitrogen. It's pretty interesting. This game has a lot of interesting crossovers with Escape from Monkey Island, which is, I think, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's the next game that kind of came from LucasArts, and maybe perhaps the last big LucasArts game that kind of came out. They're both on the Grime engine, which is different than the usual kind of outfits for these LucasArts games, which were all on Scum. And they kind of, it's interesting with the crossover there. I've mentioned the animation canceling glitch that we deal with here. They're kind of different, where things are, you know, they're all kind of like item based. You kind of do them in reverse on Escape from Monkey Island, where you want to use your item and then interact with the environment. You can kind of do two things at once. Versus in this game, where we interact with the environment, then use the item. So that's, again, for Grim at least, brand new tech. So I'm kind of excited myself to go through and play some Escape at some point in the near future and see if we can apply some of this new tech into the game. The other kind of extension of that is, you know, a lot of these tricks are exclusive to the remastered version. Stuff that's related, like to the mouse edition, so stuff like item sliding. That's kind of exclusive to this. But the original Grim Fandango also has a number of cool, unique glitches that are specifically related to item canceling. And there's some stuff that is faster, and some stuff that you know, you kind of make up time with. The difference between the remastered and it's like what's going on here? Oh, cool, I know what's going on. It's like, why is Glottis not throwing up? This is a question that only adventure gamers ask. Yeah, the difference between remastered and the original game is not too far apart. I think world record for remastered is around 56 and change. And I believe world record for the original is just a little bit over an hour, so it's not really too much of a difference. They kind of have their own unique approaches to the whole thing, which is pretty neat. Well, the one I can think of in the beginning is we have this kind of conversation with Glottis right out of the gate, right in year one. We can actually take that conversation as we're running away from Glottis. We don't actually have to be downstairs to do such a thing, which is not something we can do in the remastered version. I have managed to get a version of that to work, but it's super inconsistent. It almost always loses time. But it's a pretty cool thing if you ever watch like Mike the Viewer, who's the world record holder for the original. There's a pretty cool strat where pretty much they engage Glottis and just run away. And Glottis kind of just stands there and tries to talk to Manny. And as he goes up the elevator, kind of continued those things we do in year one. Yeah, you just have kind of a conversation down here, and you just kind of keep running and doing the conversation. It's kind of it's a really cool thing. I wish we could get it to work in this version, but we haven't yet gotten a full one-to-one thing of that. There's a lot of really great work within the community to get this game going. Some folks are runners, some folks aren't. There's just some folks who have kind of come out and just found little I don't know, little glitches, little improvements, and it's been great for the run for everybody. A lot of folks actually have gotten involved with the adventure game speedrunning kind of community just as casual players, which is really great to see. Speaking of which, I guess if you are interested in learning runs like Grim Fandango, or maybe you're a Sierra fanatic and you like King's Quest and Quest for Glory and things like that, Gabriel Knight, and everything in between, stuff that's new. I recently started routing like Lamplight City by Grundislav Games. There's all kinds of interesting point-and-click adventures out there, and we'd love to have you within the community. There's somebody who's run something who would love to see you do something else with the games, so it's kind of a really fun and positive community there. A lot of folks who are just huge adventure game fans in general, so it's really good. Kind of the hot new speed games. I say new speed games, relatively speaking, but Curse of Monkey Island got cracked open this year, and that world record, which had been long held of like 18.5 minutes, dropped about 2 minutes, I think. Shouts out to the folks who are working on that. That is a significant time drop. We're going to do a safety save, by the way. We are caught up now. Hooray for us. Here we go. Okay, let's try this again. Take our time, everybody. Cross your fingers. Hold your breath. Do all of the things that you need to do. Okay. Part 1 is good. That was the part we got stuck on last time. It didn't seem hard, right? It always is, though. You should be able to get out of the car. But that's like the game says no sometimes. It's really funny, actually. If you look at, at some point, everybody who's run this game, you have kind of those notes you can put on SRC after you submit the run, and everybody's had a moment where they've said, this game does not want me to run it. And I think we all experienced that collectively together, as painful as it was. Manny giving me trouble here. We're just trying to run out of here. Beautiful. Here we go. We finally made it to our destination. This guy is an arms dealer. We call him a florist within the lore of the game, since, they sell fertilizer, and that's like the worst stuff in this universe here, getting sprouted. But this guy has a kind of Pavlovian reaction to the bell, and just so anytime he hears the bell, has to give a gun out with some fertilizer, which is our ammo. We don't have a head, but that's, again, aerodynamics. We're trying to speed this thing up. We're also going to phase through a wall. Don't really understand that. That's not a trick. That's just the game. Don't really understand that. But, I don't know. That's a good style point. Shouts out to Glottis for phasing us through a wall. Okay, we're in almost the end game now here. We're going to go approach Hector and finish this thing off. We're climbing up. We have our ammo. We have our face paint. We do need one more little piece to the puzzle here, which is a new suit. We've got this very cool kind of coat going on here, which I like a lot, but we need to pretend to basically be one of Hector's lackeys here. Just going to play this a little safe here. Beautiful. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to get Meche to talk to us. This is Meche who's talking to Charlie, who you might remember from year 2. We're going to steal Charlie's suit, and she's kind of giving him the I don't know, the run around here. We threw a sheet over him. It's not really, doesn't really know what's going on. He's pretty bad when you throw a sheet over his head. He's trying to get out we're going to have our undercover agent. This is somebody else from the Revolution, who's basically going to go over to this machine here and make Charlie win. He's basically just been kind of going back and forth between all the machines and stealing money, and that's funding the Revolution. But we're going to have Charlie win here because that will get him off of the machine, and we need that now. Meche is going to take him out to a toga party, or at least tell him that he's going to a toga party, which will leave his suit available for us. We'll put the suit on, and then we'll go talk to Charlie. This section's actually really interesting. If you can get through this whole thing, what we just did really, really fast, there's actually a fast cycle. This animation here is on this person on the unicycle here. If you can beat the animation out, you can actually have him wheel on over to the slot machine before emptying out one of the ones on the front there, and that saves a decent amount of time. That is cycle-based as far as I can tell. That's that. So we're going to do Kino. So this is a puzzle that I'm sure many folks remember. You basically need to look at the Kino board, a bunch of numbers on the board, and then you need to memorize where they are, and then you need to pick the number that's new. But I did a trick here. I like to call it a Havorius trick. And yeah, so you saw 3 there, and then we saw a 31 appear. So the number we need to give here is a 31. Here you go. So if you're ever learning this and you have terrible memory like I do, you can just leave and come back. Go out the little door we came in, and that actually resets the Kino board. And yeah, that's an easy way to get through there without, I don't know, looking like a bigger dingus on a big stream like this. This is big brain gaming here. But that's a really nice kind of like entry level thing. If you're going for like a world record time or something, it's pretty good to try to get good at doing the Kino. But yeah, this is a marathon, so we're going to do that strat to basically step out, step in, and make sure we get it. Having the board reset like that is great. Okay, so this is Hector. We're going to confront him here, and yeah, it didn't go so well. He ran away. So we're going to chase him away here. He did drop the briefcase that's full of the number 9 tickets, so we're going to go collect that. Just using some items in this area here to kind of chase after and get over to the briefcase. You can do some animation layering here, but it's actually counterproductive. It's a weird thing where you actually put away things that you need. So anyways, here are the number 9 tickets. We're going to collect as many of these as we can. Unfortunately, we've been double-crossed, as you do. So now, yeah, we're basically going up to this greenhouse here to meet with Hector one more time. And yeah, this is pretty much where, I guess, you'll see what happens here. We're going to run up here. We're going to interact with the door. And yes, we've been shot, unfortunately. So we've been sprouted. But thankfully, we have that liquid nitrogen here. And we're going to use it to freeze off the sprouting so we stay alive here. Go. Okay, there is some cool animation layering stuff. We're going to try to get all of it right here. We're going to interact. There's Sal. Sal's going to sacrifice himself. Okay, we didn't get that one. That's okay. Sacrifice himself to take out the person who captured us there. And now we have both our scythe back, which we're going to need here. And we did pick up a golden number 9 ticket. And in fact, it was Sal's ticket. Sal obviously has sacrificed himself, exploded, and has passed away again. But his body was buried over here somewhere. Try to get our way over here. And the tickets are attracted, of course, to the body that they're supposed to be, I don't know, they're meant for. And we are actually looking for the trunk key to this car here, and it was within Sal's body. So we have now picked up our key. We're going to go down here, and once again, we're going to try to get a gun and approach Hector again. Third time's the charm, right? So we did do an animation layer there where we picked up the key at the same time as putting the scythe away. That does save a little bit of time. We're going to try one more here, hoping that we can run right around here. We're going to try to open the trunk at the same time. Yes, we got it. At the same time as... Oh, I thought we had it. We started to do it. But we would have opened the trunk at the same time as getting the gun out at the same time as running away. But alas, here we go. Got one more shot at it here. That last section, I love this shot here with all the stars out here. This is the very last section of the game. We've saved Meche, we saved everybody along the line, but we just need to kind of take care of the unfinished business here. Nice, okay, we got the last one. So there's a cutscene that's happening right now. We're normally not supposed to be able to be moving here. And time will be when we interact with the door, which will be now. Time. Whew. So that was an interesting run. Pretty appropriate for a marathon, I think. That's soft locked, of course. But there we go. The key to approaching Hector is to not approach Hector at all. It's to put fertilizer in kind of the vents and then have him explode. What a great shot here, tossing the sprouting gun down and just kind of walking away. But to clean up the story there, that's we give everybody back their number 9, their very deserved number 9 tickets, and Meche and Manny go off into the sunset into the 9th underworld. And that is everything I can say about that. Thanks very much for having me up in the Woofs. If you are interested again in learning a game like this, do check out the Speedy Adventures Discord. There's plenty of friendly people there for teach you whatever kind of adventure game speedrun you may want to see.
How about yours?
Thanks very much.
The Woofs, thank you so much. Thank you for that run. And stick with us, everybody. We will be back after this short intermission with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond.